Yes, we love him. Welcome to Commonly Accurate. I'm your host, of course, the nefarious Mike A. Sims. I'm here with my brother-in-law, Phil. So he is not a comic aficionado by any stretch of the imagination. He has seen a ton of Marvel movies, all of them, you said?
Pretty much.
This is a new segment I'm going to call Hot Takes. And he had a hot take that I almost disagreed with, but then after a while, he really did start to bring me around with. So I'm going to let him take it away. So when we were talking about who the strongest person in the MCU was, you made a lot of sense. Who was that, in your opinion?
I said Thor, and I previously put Hulk and Thor on the same plateau, but Thor.
Okay, before the comment section goes crazy, hear him out, because I almost went full nerd, and he broke it down in a way that made a lot of sense. Do you want to?
And I'm just getting another realization right now.
There you go. I'm excited about this. Actually, I'm excited
because what Thor was lacking, he got, and what Hulk was lacking, he also got. Because I just realized it. Hulk had all the power and none of the sense. And then when he, at least in the movie, when it came to the movie, he had the power and the sense at the same time at the end, towards the end.
You mean
he became
Smart Hulk?
Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
He wasn't just, trying to break everything up. Yeah, that's what my thought is right now. But I still do believe that in terms of power, it's Thor.
Okay, so he broke it down to me, like I said beforehand, in a way that made sense to me. So you were saying that, because Thor, who is, we called him a spoiled brat, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Thor, who was a brat, it's okay. We get messages. We have families. So Thor, who was a brat, he could lift the hammer, but you said he basically just, that's all he had was the hammer. Yeah,
the hammer was his, from what I was looking at, again, I'm not an insider, but from what I was looking at, he was compensating with the hammer. So if the hammer wasn't there, he wasn't as powerful as he could have been.
Yeah.
Which we saw in the first one.
Yeah.
So it over time, and this is where my theory comes in, the course of how the movies go, he is forged much like his new weapon is forged.
I love that. And
that's when he really sets himself apart from, power wise and superiority wise. He cuts Thanos' head off with one swoop, and everyone was struggling with this guy.
Literally.
Struggling. So he comes out of nowhere, boom, job's done. Yeah. If he was there hours earlier, we wouldn't be talking, there would be no snap and all that. So that's my logic about it.
What I love about that is the fact that, if you guys haven't, if you don't know the history of the Thor movies, in the first Thor movie, he was cast out because he was too arrogant, because he knew he was going to be king of Asgard. So he was sent to Earth, and he had to learn, basically, to be worthy again. And there's actually a scene, which is my favorite scene in the entire first movie, where he's trying to lift Mjolnir, and he can't. Second movie, this is a joke, but the third movie, Ragnarok, is what Phil is also referring to, where he didn't even need the hammer when his sister broke it.
Right.
And then by Endgame, when he had to forge a new hammer, which is why I love what you just said, he had to literally withstand.
It was forged alongside the new hammer. When the first hammer was broken, he was broken.
Ooh.
And that's the human experience, right? When you're being made into a new man or a new soldier or someone, you have to first be broken down, and then you're rebuilt. But the rebuilding is much like a forging process, where you go through hard times, you go through, understanding your power. The movie shows me, from when I watch it from this angle, I guess, it shows me that he didn't know who he was. He didn't know who he was until he needed his father to speak to him about certain things. He needed to get some experiences, see some losses. 'Cause I don't think he lost up until that point. And he was fighting giants in space, from what I saw. Yeah. And at that point, until he took some L's, got his eye plucked out, forged a new hammer, literally. And peep this though, when the sunlight came through from the dead star, and the sunlight came through to make the hammer, it hit him first. Yeah. So in every way, shape, and form, he's being forged in the heat along with that.
This might shock you
And
guys.
that changed.
But Phil's a pastor.
That's what I
based on how he's talking, this might shock you. But no, I love that. I love
with
it.
Jesus Christ, you can holler at me. Thank you.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. I actually didn't even see it that way until you pointed it out to me. That's why I wanted him to come on this episode of Hot Takes on Comically Accurate, because I loved his mindset about this. Oh, yes. And also, which it just popped in my head when we were talking, remember, when all the other Avengers, including Captain America, were falling to Thanos, he was the only one who was able to physically match him.
Yes.
Oh, and you also mentioned the Hulk thing, too.
The Hulk, yeah. So the Hulk thing, like, oh, yes. When he was the first time he's fighting the Hulk, the only thing that saved him was at the very last moment, he catches the hammer and uppercuts the Hulk.
Yes.
The Hulk would have torn his head off. But that he was relying on the power of that. Whereas I think, Endgame Thor would have just handled it right then and there. So
that's where he got me. That's where he got me, because when he pointed that out to me, I was like, yo, he's absolutely right. He being, of course,
because Ragnarok Thor was getting beat up for a while.
He was.
And then
by his sister.
He like got his legs up under him, kind of like what a kid does. He's like a big kid. Like we even see that kind of characteristic in the movie. Like he learns how to use his tools other than the hammer.
Yeah.
And then he gets forged and gets a new hammer, and then he gets both hammers, and it's like crazy.
Which I loved, honestly. Like I said, that's why I had to bring him on here. I bring Phil on here because I loved his take on this. Guys, like, share, subscribe, of course. Thank you, Phil, so much.
Thank you
for this.
For having me on.
I cannot wait. It'll go live probably in tonight, honestly, because I'm just so excited about this episode. I will see you guys on the flip side of humanity. Thank you for chilling.